Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our June 15th, 2015 Boss Spotlight. I am super excited that we're going to be able to talk with KaCey. She is the co-founder of Hey, Helping Empower Youth nonprofit organization, and also the initiator of the Built for This movement. So we're going to be able to talk with her, get a little bit more insight of what she does with her new movement, and also what we can expect. She is one of the presenters for our 2015 I Am Boss conference that is taking place August 21st through 23rd in Atlanta. And so, super excited. Good morning, KaCey. How are you?
Morning. I'm well. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm doing good. I'm just really excited. So glad that you were able to take the time out of your busy schedule and kind of chat with us a little bit.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about your organization and your movement first. Let's kind of give us an overview of what we can expect from both. More importantly, or I guess kind of more so, the boss move, the boss, the built for this movement. Of course, you know where mine is. My
Yes,
mind's always there. The built for this movement, and then just kind of let us know how we can get involved, all that good stuff. So go ahead and take it away.
absolutely. Well, Hey, Helping Empower Youth was founded in April of 2011, and it came out of a desire to want to do more for young people. Most of my professional career has been a nonprofit, volunteer engagement, program design, but I wanted to do something more than what I was able to accomplish in an office and working for an organization. And so I started with a friend of mine, and we've just been really trying to grow it ever since. And I would say in the last 2 years, it's really kind of taken off with the momentum that it's increasing its engagement and the level of participation from community members and from young people. And I had this idea, I'd say late last year, maybe around the summertime, where I wanted to encourage young women that they already had what was necessary inside of them to accomplish whatever it is that they wanted to do. That essentially, whatever that goal is, whatever that desire is that they want to achieve and reach, that they were already built for it. That it was our job as adults and mentors and community leaders to really help them identify how to tap into it, how to identify what those skill sets and traits are that they already have, and then how to activate them and use them in a way that allow them to see progress. And so a lot of times, when you hear being built for this, you think of maybe working out, or you think of something masculine maybe. I'm the daughter of a contractor and a construction worker, and so things are always being built around me. And I thought that it was just a perfect merge with my personality, with my life experiences, but also encouraging people to know that you were created for whatever it is that you are going to come up against, created for anything that you're getting ready to succeed in, that you were crafted and built for this time, for this thing, for this desire, for this goal, that you already have what you need in order to succeed. And I just want to help young women specifically tap into that and figure out how to use that to succeed.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. So, kind of explain the mediums that you use to deliver this message to get people to say, okay, you know what, I am built for this, or to do that, that self-discovery piece. What
Sure.
do you do? Do you host workshops? Do you, blog? How can we kind of get that message from you?
Sure. A lot of the work that we've been doing recently has been in the form of face to face or person to person interaction. There's a camp that we host, that Hay hosts, the first Saturday of each month at the Midway Recreation Center. And part of the work that we do during the 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. time frame is around breaking the students and the participants off in smaller groups based on interests, based on mentoring initiatives and groups. So we're able to do a lot of the work with Built for This during that period of time. So that's a dedicated time each Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., excuse me, every first Saturday. Also, there is a blog that we are revamping and hoping to relaunch at the end of this month, where it becomes interactive. People can share their stories about what they have identified that they are built for, how they got to that particular place, what they're doing with that information now. The young people and the young women that we're working with can have an opportunity to tell their story on the site as well, in addition to experiences I've had, experiences that other women in my life have had that we think would help some young woman get over a hurdle or get past the challenge. We have t-shirts that we really use as kind of a conversation starter. You know, you see the Built for This, and the question that you get all the time is, well, what are you built for, right? And so that's an opportunity for people to then share what their story is, what their goals are, what it is that they are hoping to accomplish. And so it really encourages people to then become interactive with that person. And so we're super excited about the shirts. And also we are getting ready to launch an affirmation line. This includes cards. It can be very general. And if somebody just needs to kind of restore their self-worth, their self-esteem, to affirm themselves that they are in the right time, right moment, right space to accomplish what they need. If they need affirmations around relationships or money or academic success or what have you, we're excited about launching that this summer as well. In addition to getting ready to start a web series where we will then interview young women and some older women alike. I think that there is there's something beautiful about being able to merge the generations, where they can tell their stories and hopefully able to encourage one another to continue on the path that they're on, and understanding that, you know, I really believe that you know, we are spirit beings kind of having a natural or a human experience, and that there was something that we promised God that we would do before we were even sent into this earth. And so how do we tap into that? How do we figure out what is that thing that we promised him that we would do in order to, you know, have a successful life? And I think by sharing stories and creating a safe space for young people to be in, to uncover those things, helps them get to it a little faster. They don't have to wait till they're 30 and 35 and 40 to kind of figure out, well, how do I make this meaningful life that's impactful, not only to myself, but to those around us? And so we're hoping between the shirts and the affirmation lines and the web series and these face-to-face and interpersonal interactions on the Saturdays will definitely encourage them to be able to do that.
Awesome. Well, that's super exciting. And I do have my shirt. I'm so proud of. I was showing it on Instagram the other day when I first got it. So, you know, what my story is and things like that. So, really quickly, I want you to kind of give, because, you know, of course, people are taking time out and tuning in and things like that. So just really quickly, offer them like 3 takeaways of how do you tap in and utilize your story and what it is that you've been through. Kind of give, like, I guess, 2, 3 to 5 little tidbits of how to pull that out and apply that to your life now to make it impactful and meaningful.
Sure. First, you have to be honest about what your story and your experience has been. Doesn't always have to be part of your grand plan, or things have to be perfect, but you have to identify and know and be honest about what your story is. Second, I think you have to be honest about it. A lot of times we sugarcoat what we've been through when we're talking to other people, thinking that we have to project this perfect persona, and perfection usually doesn't help people. It's the brokenness, it's the bad experiences, it's the hurt, it's the pain. And I know it sounds morbid and dark, but unfortunately that's part of life. And I think if we're more honest about those broken pieces, it helps people get to wholeness a little faster. Third, I believe that you have to start talking about it. You don't have to tell the whole entire world on social media. You don't have to walk around with a sign on your chest. But I do believe that each of us have a group of people, be it 2 or 3, or some of us 20 or 30, depending on the platform that we have, that are connected to us, that we're supposed to share our stories with in order for them to be able to overcome their own challenges. So I'd say start talking and sharing your story. The fourth thing that I would say is that learn how to get to a place of being okay with you, and being okay with being alone. I think a lot of times, especially as women, we're always taking care of other people. We're always running around doing things that benefit other people, and we don't take the time to really pour back into ourselves. There's a friend of mine, she does this thing called Self-Care Saturday, and she blocks off some time, and I've started incorporating this as well, where she shuts off her phone. She finds something that she enjoys doing, whether it's 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours of that day, that, regardless of what is happening in the world and other people's lives, that is time she is blocked off just for her. Because the reality is even if an emergency happens, the emergency is going to be there after 2 hours, after 3 hours, and that we have to be okay with setting aside time for ourselves. And I think in that quiet time, we get to hear more in our spirit. We get to be okay with decisions that don't require other people to co-sign or to affirm for us. And it helps us become stronger and more adept in sharing our story and sharing our purpose with others when we learn to be okay with it. And I'd say the fifth and final thing is to find a way to increase and boost your confidence. And I know that's something that I had struggled and at times still struggle with a little bit. Am I enough? Am what I'm doing, is what I'm doing enough? If I stop doing it, are people going to be upset or mad? And I realized a lot of that was tied to my own self-worth, my own self-esteem, how confident I was in myself, because for me to have to constantly be concerned about other people's perceptions of me, which I think we should be a little mindful of, but to the point where it consumes you or your decisions are now made out of other people's perceptions, I think hinders your purpose and your process. So if we're able to be okay with ourselves, be honest about our stories, start sharing our stories, finding time to be alone and be okay with it so that we can hear from the spirit that's within us, and then learning to build our confidence and be okay with the decisions that we make, I think really helps put us in a position where we can then walk out our purpose fully, because we've then eliminated some of the distractions.
Amen. And that makes a lot of sense what you were saying in regards to sharing your story and kind of being okay with opening up. And I experienced that too. It was probably maybe about a year and a half ago. I had a video interview. No, it was a blog talk interview with a young lady, and we had to reschedule. And she was saying that something was, after we kind of reconnected, something happened to her daughter, which was very similar to what I had gone through before. And it was one of the very first times that I was able to publicly share that piece of my life. And it was just like after I did that, it was almost like liberating. It was one of those things where being able to offer encouragement, letting her know to, also encouraging her daughter that it happens, and things like that go on, and it doesn't happen. You're not the only one in the world that's ever done or experienced those things. And so you're right, sharing your story, those things are how you tap into it, and then it empowers and encourages others because they feel they're not alone.
Absolutely.
And that's totally important.
Mm-hmm.
So let's transition for a little bit. So you're going to be one of our speakers at our 2015 I Am Boss conference. So super excited. I know that you're just kind of kicking off your speaking career, so I'm glad that we were one of your first stops. So don't forget about us once you start blowing up and charging $10,000 or something like that. But kind of share with us what someone they're going to sit in your workshop. What can they expect? What can they expect to learn? What kind of teaching styles are you going to be tapping into? Kind of give us a full overview of that workshop.
Yeah. So this will be one of the first opportunities that I have to really kind of share the Built for This platform. In addition to it being a girls mentoring initiative, it really is kind of the theme that I use around my speaking, tapping into your purpose. How do you use who you are to be successful? I'm definitely a storyteller. I like engagement. I like people to talk back to me. I'm not one of those laser pointer or PowerPoint folks. So even if you may see me with some type of presentation or PowerPoint, it's really just kind of high level topics. I really believe that people learn so much when they're able to engage in conversation with you. But I really want people and women, especially, to be able to get from my workshop the ability to walk away with tools and skills that they can then use to really learn more about who they are and how to use who they are to be successful. Um, I think that, especially as Christians, our overall purpose is to advance the kingdom, right? To walk out the Great Commission, to go and to disciple others, to bring them to Christ, to help save souls. But in that, each of us have a unique gift. We have a unique piece of that we're supposed to do in order to accomplish the Great Commission. And I want people to understand what their piece is, to understand what their unique gift and design is in order to do that. A lot of times, for a long time, I struggled with, well, what is my purpose? Kind of going where the wind blew. If you're good at a lot of things, or you've learned how to be good at a lot of things, how do you know what is your unique gift, your unique talent? And there are a lot of folks who have more than one, but what is it that you're supposed to do that no one else in this world can do? And for me, I realized that the one thing that I've always done well is talk. But I had to figure out, well, what is it that I'm saying? What is it that I'm talking about? How do I use this gift of speaking and talking and communicating and storytelling to advance the kingdom, and to advance other people in their lives? And so I'm going to take people through my own journey of how I identified that and how they can use those same tools to pinpoint and hone in and identify what their unique piece of this overall purpose is in order for them to be able to walk it out as well. Because I really think once we identify what it is that we're called to do, what it is that we're supposed to do, that life becomes a little bit easier. Doesn't make it easy, but it becomes easier because now we're not being attracted to any and everything that comes to us, and we can stay focused. So even if the methodology changes as you grow and mature, or even if you use different platforms as technology evolves, or as other opportunities open for you, how you present your purpose may change, but your purpose never changes. Your call to changes. Who you are never changes, even if the presentation of it becomes different. And so, we'll talk a little bit about that in the workshop as well, that, sometimes you have to, it's cliche, but it's true. Meet people where they are. And so how I talk to you, Tamara, someone who gets it, right? So you are mature in your faith. I don't have to chop it up for you and give it to you in little, bitty pieces. If I'm talking to a 14-year-old young lady who's just trying to figure out who she is in Christ, or who she is, period, even if she hasn't made that decision yet, my conversation and my delivery and my presentation to her is going to be a little bit different. So also taking people through, once you've identified your purpose, how do you then figure out how do you present it to the world?
And that's really important. One piece I just kind of want to go back a little bit when you said to use who you are to be successful, to use
Mhm.
what you have. And I think oftentimes we look outside ourselves, like we
Yeah,
look like there's something that we need to acquire, or there's some piece of information that we don't know yet, that we need to search for in order to reach whatever our definition of success is. And so what you're really kind of going to be sharing with those who attend your workshop is that simply it's in you.
yeah.
And you have to really take that time to figure and to pull it out and to use it once you kind of, once you've identified that. Is that kind of it, or am I interpreting
Yeah,
that?
no, absolutely. Absolutely. I do believe that every I do believe that everything that we need is already in us. Now, we may need support from other people. Um, we may need other resources, but the core of what we need to be successful, the creativity, the thought process, the intelligence, the drive, the passion, the self-checking, all of that is internal. All of that is something that we have to kind of conjure up out of ourselves. And then once we identify that and realize that, you may need other people to support you. You may need other resources to be able to carry that out. But the essence of it is something that's inside of you that you can't get from other people. You can't pull from other people. It doesn't feel right. You may be able to carry on the rules for a while, but it doesn't feel right after a little bit of time. And so I really want people to identify that you don't have to look to other people to find a model of success. There are people who've done it well, but they're entirely different from you. And so even though there's some tools that are universal, some resources that are universal, how those universal resources and tools are applied are even going to be different for you than it is for the other person. A lot of people talk about Oprah, right? And so she's definitely kind of like a virtual mentor of mine, in the sense that I kind of study her story, kind of study, how she was able to make, a net worth of over $1 billion in media. But I'm not a media personality, right? I don't have a desire to have a talk show. I don't have a desire to have a magazine. But I do enjoy talking, and she's made lots of money talking. So what is it that I can pull from tools and resources that she's used to be able to enhance my gift of talking, my purpose of sharing my story with other people? And so it may be the same tool, the same resource, but it's applied differently in my life because I'm not using the same mediums or platforms that she's used, if that makes sense. So, there are things that everybody can pull from, but how you then apply it to your life, your purpose, your gift, your calling is going to be unique. And again, that is something that comes from inside of you to identify, how do I apply it in a way that makes sense for me, that allows me to continue to be successful? Because if I do everything that Oprah did, I'm not going to be successful. One, I'm not Oprah. Two, her purpose, her calling is something entirely different. I can't duplicate her story. I can't duplicate her journey. I can only use what is universal and then find a way to apply it to my own life in order to be my best self and for me to be the best version of what it is that I want to present to the world.
Absolutely. And that's huge to be like, okay, these are tools, these are, blogs that I read, or, resources and whatnot, but actually taking that time to see, okay, this is how I'm going to apply it to my life and to my situation. I think a lot of us get so almost like information hoarders, and we're just like, I just need to read more, I just need to do more, I just need to get more, get more, get more, and there's really no personal application of it. I think that we often don't be like, okay, I learned this, now I need to apply it in my life. And that's one thing that we definitely are going to be pushing really heavy at the conference, is that people are going to be sitting at the feet of some experts and that are awesome and that are doing great things. And so it's important to not just get caught up on the, oh, I got this information, to also say, okay, this is how I'm going to apply it. And that push is something that we're going to definitely be expecting for those who are attending, and all of our speakers, like I've been sharing with you, with all of you, about having that application piece. Like once you walk away with all of this knowledge, that personal application is super, super important. So just really quickly before we wrap up, we have, a couple more minutes, about 8 more minutes, and, I want to let you go because I know you have a busy day ahead of you. But just kind of some takeaways or some last comments that you want to share. Basically definitely let everybody know how to get in contact with you. But just kind of any more snippets, last minute golden nuggets that you want to share and provide for us.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I want to leave everyone with is that living life on purpose is a lifelong journey. You're not going to get it in a day, and then there's no other self-exploration that you have to do, that there's no other work that you have to do. You're going to have other life experiences that's going to make you question your purpose. You're going to have, a level of success that makes you think that you've arrived in some areas, but it doesn't stop. You continue to move in it. You continue to grow in it. You continue to allow it to make you evolve as a person. So I don't ever want people to think that, oh, I know what my purpose is, and then that's where the work stops. That's actually where the work starts, in a sense, because now it's going to be a heightened sense of sensitivity that you have around it. And I think for me too, that once you identify what your purpose is, it makes it much easier to make decisions around that. And what I mean by that is that something else that I've always struggled with, and I still do, haven't conquered this yet, is the ability to say no and have no be a complete sentence. And what I'm realizing is that if I say yes to everything, it's taking away from my purpose. Everything that I'm presented with isn't meant to build me up, isn't meant to propel me further, isn't meant to encourage me or edify me or uplift me. And it doesn't mean that I can only say yes to things that benefit me, because I'm a people person, I'm giving, I'm nurturing, so I'll never be the type of person that doesn't help other folks. But when it gets to a place where I'm now depleted, I'm now run down, I'm now empty, I have to say no, because I have to tap back into my purpose to be refilled, refueled, re-energized in order to continue moving. So I think once you know what your purpose is, you can say no to especially things that are presented to you that are going to take you off course. And we don't have time to be taken off course anymore. So I think that would be the last thing I want to leave with folks. But in terms of people getting in contact with me, they can always visit the Hay website at helpingempoweryouth.org. There's a contact us page there. If you can't remember email addresses and the like, you can always go to helpingempoweryouth.org. You can find me on social media and Facebook, either under KaCey Venning or under What Are You Built For? And so we're really using social media also as a way to storytell and to build a community as well. And if all else fails, people can always email me at kaceyvenning@gmail.com. And so between the website and social media and the email, I'm usually pretty responsive to folks. And if you have questions about about your purpose, how to identify it, how to now utilize what you've learned, and you can't wait till August to the conference, definitely contact me. I'm definitely going to encourage you to come, because I think that, the other speakers and just the content that Tamara has in general is going to be awesome, and we definitely want you there. But, I'm also available to help folks begin that journey, and then hopefully the other information that they're able to receive in August kind of helps put a nice little bow on it, so that they have what they need to move forward.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, KaCey, for your time. I know that you're busy, and so I do not take it lightly, and I'm just totally honored that you are a part of the conference, that you're a part, that we're able to put you in the spotlight today. And so I'm looking forward to your workshop. I'm looking forward to kind of sit and learn and glean from you of how to, apply what it is that I'm built for into this mighty movement. So I'm thankful for that. So I just wanted to tell you thank you again for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. We'll definitely be in touch, of course, but I also want to encourage everyone who is watching to connect with KaCey at some point or another, whether it's at the conference or via social media. She's just an awesome woman, period, to know. And then also, as she didn't mention it, but I'm just going to put a plug in for her too, she also helps establish his nonprofit. So those of you who are, called to serve in the nonprofit sector but need some guidance and, some help, then definitely connect with her as well, because she's an expert in that. She's able to lead you and guide you. Of course, she's already set up her own nonprofit, so she knows what she's doing. But I just wanted to encourage you again to connect with her. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
Thank
watching,
you.
tuning in. All of our viewers, thank you, KaCey, again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. This has been Tamara Diane with your June 15, 2015 Boss Spotlight. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful and prosperous week.
Awesome.